In this web design case study, I'm going to show you the whole process of creating a website for a company that sells equipment for restaurants, from the initial brief to actually delivering the website to the client. Hello, I'm your host Casino from Casino.com. I'm the digital alchemist, but I'm also an experienced web designer that's been in the field for quite a while, and I've been working with clients from all around the world. In this new format, I want to show you the big picture when it comes to creating websites the professional way. So once you've watched the video, please let me know in the comments if this was helpful when it comes to getting the hang of how professional web design works. Now, of course, this project is a real life project that I'm working on. The only thing I changed is the logo, the name of the client, and also the text. So you got a lot of lorem ipsum, but all the rest is the real deal. Make sure you watch until the end because I'm going to share a few tips as well as the tools I've been using for this project, so maybe it can help you for your next project. Ready? Let's get started. The brief. So the first question I asked during the brief is, what are your goals? And I know it may sound silly, but it's really crucial that you ask that question and you let your client talk. So in their case, the first thing they said is, we want to be more visible. Now you gotta understand that this company sells equipment for other businesses, restaurants, hotels, and so on. And it's in a really small area and it's a really closed market. Maybe they have 4 to 5 competitors. So now you may be wondering, why do they need to be visible then? Well, it's really simple. The other competitors have started to be really active online. And now this potential client is scared that they might lose some market share. And that's not because they think they're gonna get some market out of Google, for example, but it's just because if they're not present, if they're not visible, people might think that they're not in business anymore. The second thing they told me is they want to be credible because they saw the websites of their competitors and one of those websites was really poorly made. And one thing they told me is, we don't want something like that. We want to be credible. We want to reinforce our image. Now, of course, everybody wants to be credible, but they really insisted on the fact that they want to reinforce the corporate image of their business. Next, when I talked about search engine optimization, they told me that this was not important for the company. They didn't rule it out, but they told me it could come at a later stage. As explained, they're in a small area, in a small market with 4 to 5 competitors, so they don't see why they should invest in SEO. They don't sell to consumers, they only sell to businesses, and actually they use networking and word of mouth, and they have a lot of business. So at this stage, they don't see the point. I've explained why it was important nonetheless, but I quickly grasped the fact that they wanted to invest all of their budget in the website and not in SEO. Now, as a professional, I'm not going to force clients to do what they don't want to do. I've done my part, I've explained why it was important, and if at a later stage they want SEO services, then they know what to do. Quoting and getting chosen. So initially the client wanted a website with their full catalog with hundreds of products. So I used my quoting process, which I've already outlined in a few videos on this channel. And the first quote was far from what they imagined in terms of budget and in terms of timing. But I didn't just throw the quote at them. I explained why, and I really had a detailed quote. So they said thank you for the quote, and I didn't hear from them for a few months. But a few months later, they contacted me again because they wanted a second quote. So we had a second briefing and I really helped them to outline what they needed for their budget. I was still priced higher than the competition, but guess what? I got the project. Now, why did I get this project? Well, certainly not because of the price, because like I said, I did not lower my prices. What I did instead is really listen to them and help them to come up with a solution for the budget they had. So I couldn't give the same amount of work for the budget they had, but what I could do is to work with them and give them outstanding value for their budget. Now, another reason is the fact that I really do listen to my clients. I listen to what they need. And you know, oftentimes they express something, but they actually mean something else. So my work as a professional is to try and understand what they really want. And then it gets easier. So I listened, I understood, and then I rephrased their needs. So after that second meeting, I didn't hear from them for a few days, and then I got an email and they told me, you really nailed down what we need and we do want to work with you. It always feels nice. So at this stage, I asked 50% up front, then 30% when I delivered the prototype demo, and the final 20% at the very latest the day I delivered the website on their own domain. Benchmarking. So once the contract is signed and I've got 50% of the total amount, I put the project in my planning, and the first thing I do is I'm going to start benchmarking the competitors. So let me show you an example, and I chose a totally random location. So I typed restaurant kitchen equipment Tulsa, and I got past the ads. What you see on top here are ads, and I went straight to the first results. So this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. Now, of course, in real life, I'll spend more time and maybe more websites, like 10 websites, really try to nail down what could make the difference. But I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm just going to pick 3, and I'm not going to go through all the pages for the same reason. But one thing that really strikes me when I go through these pages, so if I look at the hero sections, this one, and this one, what is there in common for all of these websites? There is no human presence. Here is the big, bold, giant text with a beautiful typography, by the way. And then we see some equipment in the background. And here it's like, I don't know, totally white page, or maybe the link wasn't good. Let me go back to the home page. So here we see the equipment. And you may think, okay, that makes sense. It's a company selling equipment. You show equipment, that's about it, right?
Wrong.
It lacks a human element. So at this stage, I'm writing notes and I write down that I want to add the human element in the final design. Now also, usually at this stage, I've already asked the clients to send me 3 links of websites that they absolutely love and 3 links of websites that they do not like. Prototyping. Now, in my case, prototyping is crucial because I create custom websites. So I'm not just going to buy a theme and just put the logo of the client and just change the images and the content. I'm really going to design the website from scratch, but I'm going to use tools like WordPress, Elementor, and so on. The best of both worlds, really. Also, prototyping allows to separate the structure from the design, and that is crucial when it comes to project management for websites. You first want your client to focus on the structure of the website, and once the structure is approved, then you can move on to the design phase. It makes it way more easier and efficient, and it stops the constant back and forth with the client. So one way to create a prototype is to use tools like Figma, or you can use Adobe XD, you can use Sketch, you can use Affinity Designer as I'm using here. And then what you need to do is to do all versions for each page in the desktop format, the tablet, and the mobile. And I've already shown you how to do that in a few videos. Now, this way of working is totally fine, but in my opinion, it takes a lot of time. So to cut a long story short, I created my own tool called Wirementor, which you can see on screen right now. And basically, it's a wireframing kit that you can use with Elementor Pro. Now, whatever tool you're going to use, it doesn't really matter. You could use Figma, you could use whatever. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the process. So to build a prototype, I use a combination of widgets, blocks, and layouts. And at the end, I created pages just like this one, which is the home page. So let me quickly show you. So here I got the home page, you got a hero section, and then the client wanted to have a couple of extra links. Now, usually I'd have to have only one call to action, but in this case, it was a bit different. So basically the first link takes to the Our Equipment page and the second to the Showcase page. Here, I click on Discover, I have a section with some text. I could add a title or a logo here. Then when you click on Why Choose Us, we get 3 reasons why customers should choose that company. Next, we click on Testimonials and we scroll down to the testimonials. You can click to see all testimonials on a dedicated page. And then here we see 4 of the equipment categories. And when we click, we can go to a dedicated page. Or we can click on the Showcase page and it takes us there. Next, we have a before and after slider with some text. And finally, we can click on Ask a Quote. Of course, my prototype is responsive, so that makes it easier later down the road when I start the design phase. There's a lot of work I don't have to do. Next, we have our About Us page. You see a big image in the background, and then we got a toggle, or actually here it's an accordion, and then a button that takes us to our equipment. And this is the mobile version. Next, we have our equipment page, and if I see on one of the categories, we get to the detail page, and the detail page got a big image in the background, and here we have a block with a header. We can go back to the previous page. Next, we have some text, and then we have a gallery, and then just below, we have a call to action button that can take us wherever we want. And here is the responsive version. Next, we have the Showcase page, and as you can see, it's exactly the same as the equipment page. Now, the difference between the two is that in equipment, we will show equipment categories, whereas in Showcase, we would show pictures of the equipment in real restaurants and hotels. And once again, here is the mobile version. Next, we have our testimonials page with 3 testimonials. And once again, here is the mobile version. And last but not least, we have our contact page. Here we have a map that links to Google Maps. Then we have the opening hours, the practical info, as well as a form for people to ask for their quote. So here is the mobile version, and one thing I haven't shown you is the mobile navigation. Now, there are other pages about GDPR, privacy, legal mentions, and so on, but that's pretty boring. mood boarding. So at this stage, I'm going to create a mood board, and I do that with Affinity Designer, but you can use pretty much any tool you want. So I'm going to collect a few visual elements for inspiration. Now, it's not about stealing, it's about getting inspired. So maybe I like this type of font, or maybe I like the way the footer is laid out. Maybe I like the color scheme here on the picture. Maybe I like the vertical navigation. I mean, you get the idea. You're going to collect a lot of visual elements, and that's really going to help you to make a mental idea of what you want to achieve with your design. And when comes the design time, it's going to be way easier. Branding identity. Now, if you know anything about my channel, you know that for me, branding is crucial. But the reality is some clients, either they don't have a branding identity at all, or maybe they have one, but it was made a long time ago and it was made for print and it doesn't really fit the digital space. Now, good branding identity design costs some money, and it's not always possible when a client comes for a website. They want you to create a website, but maybe they don't want to invest in branding. Maybe they don't believe in branding. So you need to be prepared for that. But I found a workaround for that. So initially, when a client comes and they have no branding or an obsolete branding, the first thing I'm going to do is to offer professional branding services. But these come with a price tag, and the price tag for serious branding design can quickly add up. So if the client is not ready to invest in branding at this stage, I'm going to offer a very basic typographic logo as well as a color palette. But there's a catch. It's a take it or leave it offer. So what that means is that I'm just going to show them what I've done. So a typographic logo and the color palette. Either they take it or they need to give me their color palette and their logo. But there won't be any revision on that offered logo. So no change of shape, no change of font, no change of this or that. Take it or leave it. Or maybe they do have the budget, but maybe they want to use all the budget for the website, for a professional photographer, and so on. Now, I still think branding is crucial, but hey, I'm not the one paying. So this is what I came up for this company, and of course I changed the name of the company, but it's the same style of typographic logo, and I suggested this color palette. Images. So images are so crucial, and visuals in general, because I always tell my clients, I can try to build you the best website in the world, but if the images are not good, there's nothing I can do. So I always recommend to my clients to use the services of a photographer, and there's one I know and work with, so I recommended these services to my client. But it's not always possible, and when that's the case, I still need good images, and that's why I use stock photography. Now, even when I work with a professional photographer, I always start with stock images, because by the time he makes the pictures and get the pictures ready, I can already work on the final design, and cherry on the cake, showing the photographer the type of images I need for the website is going to help him or her when they actually go shoot the pictures. Now, as you can see, I always spend a lot of time looking for images, and let me show you actually what it looks like. So I'm not going to show you all of the images, but you get the idea. I'm looking for really professional images, really good looking images. And when I can, I'm going to try to show the human element, because if you recall at the beginning of this video, I told you when I benchmarked the competitors, there was no human element. But I also need to see the equipment, the food. Basically, I want to create a perception. I want to create a feeling so that when the visitors land on the website, they can get a feel of what this company is all about. Now, you may think this is overkill. After all, it's just a company that sells equipment for restaurants and hotels. But at the end of the day, who's going to take the decision to work with them? It's a human being. We're all human beings, right? Kind of makes sense. So as you can see, I got a lot of pictures. I spent a lot of time until I've found the pictures, which for me is the perfect picture, or at least the best one I could find. I try to not go over 2 hours of research, but sometimes I spend way more than 2 hours. It really depends on the project. Design and development. So once everything is in order, so we got the brief, we know exactly what we want to build. We've made a prototype which has been approved by the clients for the structure part. We got our mood boarding done. We got our identity set. We found the right images. Now it's time to start designing. And once again, if you use the traditional way, once you got your wireframes, you can start designing. And this comes from another tutorial I made on this channel where I showed you how to redesign a website. So as you can see, I tried a lot of different design. And like I mentioned, that takes a lot of time. So I got a different process. If you recall, here is the homepage from our wireframe prototype demo. And this is our design. So first you see the human element. Now, if you look through the other sections. As you can see, I respected the layouts. Here is our unique setting proposition section. Why choose us? Then we have our testimonials, our equipment categories, and the before and after section that you can see here. Okay, so let's take a look at the front end. So here you can see humans smiling and actually happy to work. Here you can see someone working with food. The human element is definitely there. And you've just seen the rest of the page a few seconds ago. And here is the mobile version with the human element. We got our buttons here. We can scroll down. We have all the section looking neat and nice, as you can see here. Next, this was our About Us page, and here it is with the design. And here is the mobile version. Next, here is our equipment page, and here it is with the design. And if you click on any of the categories, we can see a detail page if you recall. And here is that same page with the design. And of course, here is the mobile responsive version. Next, here is our showcase page, and here it is with the design. And once again, here is our mobile responsive version. Next, this was our testimonials page, and here it is with the design. Very simple, but as you can see, there's a big giant testimonial text in the background. And here is our mobile version. Very simple, but very clean. And last but not least, our contact page, and here is the design version. Once again, we try to keep it simple, but very clean. And once again, I've used the big bold text here in the background. And I know you were going to ask about the mobile version, so here it is. And yeah, in case you asked, this is the mobile navigation. Okay, so we went from a wireframe prototype demo to an actual design that you can sell for a premium price. It looks really corporate, but really clean, and I'm confident that this design will still look good a few years from now. I started optimizing the website, and as you can see, it's really fast. And this is not on a local install on the computer. This is actually on a web server a few thousand kilometers away from where I live and from where I'm browsing currently. And as you can see, it's really fast, and I will let you know how I do that in a moment. Now, at this stage, I showed the demo to the client, and the client was really happy with the outcome, and it's always nice when you're a web designer. Now, at this point, I need the actual content from the client, so the text, the images, and so on. But it does not end here. The tools I've used. Now, I already created a video on the channel about my favorite tools, and I don't use all of them in each and every project, but I always try to pick which one I need for what I'm trying to achieve. So let's take a look at what I've used. So to build this website, I've used WordPress, and I've used the WordPress Astra theme. It's a very lightweight theme, and it's got a great free version and an even better pro version. And once again, I got a dedicated video on the topic on this channel, and I can't recommend Astra enough. Next, I've used Elementor and Elementor Pro, which I absolutely love. And by the way, you'll find all the links to all the tools I mentioned in the description below, and these are affiliate links, so it means that if you purchase after clicking on my link, I do get a commission, but I only recommend stuff that I love, and it gives a little kickback to the channel and support me creating free content. Now, if you know anything about me and my channel, you know that I really pick what I recommend to you guys and girls, and I can't recommend Elementor Pro enough. So basically, I've been building 100% of my websites lately with Elementor Pro. So it's made me some money, and I know it can make some money for you too. And in case you don't know, Elementor is a page builder, and Elementor Pro is the theme builder I've used to create that website. Next, I've used Jet Engine from CrocoBlock. And basically, after Elementor Pro, CrocoBlock is the second suite of tools that I recommend for building websites. Dynamic websites, outstanding websites. And I will show you in a moment how I use Jet Engine for this project. But Jet Engine is one of the many plugins that come with the CrocoBlock suite. You can build dynamic content, e-commerce website, stylish visual effects. You can create rental solutions, booking solutions. It's got dynamic features. It's got so many stuff. I mean, it's kind of overwhelming, but it's really great. Great developers, great company. So in this project, I've used Jet Engine for the equipment categories as well as for the showcase. Now, in case you didn't know, WordPress comes with two content types, posts and pages. Now with Jet Engine, I created two additional custom post types, showcase and equipment. So let's take a look. So this is Showcase, and as you can see, I've already added 4. I could add as many as I wanted. So basically I can add a showcase element just like I would for a page or a post, and it's really convenient for the client. They can change the description text, they can add images, and so on. The advantage is that you can create a custom solution without the need to actually code anything. Next, if you recall, at the bottom of the home page, we have this before and after section, which clients absolutely love. And for that, I've used Ultimate add-ons for Elementor. It's part of the Astra suite of tools. So if you get Astra Pro, you would get Ultimate add-ons for Elementor. It's a great add-on for Elementor made by a very serious company. Next, I've used Login Press Pro for the login screen, because usually this is what client gets, but in my opinion, it's not really professional. So here's what I've made with Login Press Pro. And as you can see, it's night and day between this and this. And this looks totally professional. And in my opinion, premium lies in the little details. Next, you may have noticed that I have a really strange version of WordPress with the client logo here on top, and then the interface is totally different. Well, for that, I used Admin 2020, which I've already covered in another video on this channel and which I absolutely love. Now, I totally could have used the dark theme, but for this project, I decided to use the light one. Now, as you can see here in the navigation, it can be quite overwhelming for clients if they see all of this. So usually what I do at this stage is I create 2 accounts for the client. I create an admin account so they show that whatever happens, they're in control, but then I also create an editor account and I show them the difference. So let me show you. So this would be the navigation in the editor account. So let me tell you that 99% of the clients just want to use that account because it's way simpler. I also tell them that when they log in as an administrator, there is much more risk to mess everything up. So most of the time they just use the editor account, and as you can see, it's way easier for them to really grasp what they can do. They can handle the media library, they can add or edit pages, showcase elements or equipment elements, and they can change their profile, and that's about it. Now in this project, I also used WP Rocket to make the website way faster, and that's why I could achieve such speed that I showed earlier on. But also I optimize each images. And once again, I got a video covering that on the channel. I'll show you how to optimize your images with free tools. But if you don't want to use free tools, you could use something like WP Compress or Short Pixel. Now, you need to make sure that you don't use all of these tools at the same time. You really need to know what you do and know how to combine them, but luckily there are many tutorials online. Delivering the website. So once I got all the content and I got the final demo ready and I've been paid the last installment, I'm going to put the website live on the client's domain name. Next, I'm going to send the credentials to the client so that they can log into their own website, but I'm never going to do this by email because it's way too risky. So instead, I'm going to use tools like Passcam, and there are other similar tools, and it's going to make it really easy to securely transfer the information. Next, I'm going to create a folder that I call a launch pack, and within that folder I have other folders like website backup, visuals, audio, fonts, identity, videos, and so on. And basically I'm going to zip all of that and I'm going to transfer it to the client by WeTransfer. This way, if anything happens, they have a backup of their website and all the assets of the website. Additional services. So you may think it ends here, but actually it does not, because the client may need search engine optimization. In this case, we've seen that they didn't want search engine optimization, but maybe sometimes they would need it. Maybe they will need search engine advertisement, or maybe just regular online advertisement. They may need copywriting, or maybe at a later stage, they finally decide to get that brand identity design. Maybe they want video creation. And what about a maintenance plan for the security of the website? Now, don't worry, you don't need to do all of this. And actually, you would go crazy if you do all of this with all of your clients. Instead, I have a much better way of doing this. And you can actually create your own agency by being a one-man band or a one-woman band. And if you want to know how to do that, make sure you click on the video appearing on screen right now. And just before you go, if you got any value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up because it really helps growing the channel. And if you want more of this flavor, make sure you subscribe and smash the notification bell. Until then, take care and stay safe.